Thank you, Chair Yamamoto and members of the committee. I'm Greg South. I'm the interim president at North Idaho College. I think counting today, I've been here a month and 4 days. So I'm learning my way around in this state. I've had a lot of experience in legislatures and other environments. But I must admit, I feel at a little bit of a loss compared to my esteemed colleagues here and those that went before. And where is our president from our Vandal? I am a Vandal. My doctorate degree is from the University of Idaho. My daughter is a second-generation Vandal, as is her husband. And she's a neurologist, and he's an engineer. So I raised her in Moscow, Idaho, and this is home. And it's wonderful to be back home with y'all, where the air is clean and the people are clear-minded and clear-thinking. But at any rate, I'm here to speak about career and technical education. So I have a few thoughts I prepared on that. There's a difference between a junior college and a community college, as I'm sure you all know, right? Junior college focuses on lower division transfer. That's not that hard to offer. But there are 5 key differentiating mission elements of a community college. The one I'm here to talk about is career and technical education. I remember, 2008, sitting in as a representative for the type of education I was involved in then. I used to attend the quarterly summits of the DOE in Washington, and then the then new Secretary Arnie Duncan was saying that by 2015, here we are 2023, 85% of the workforce is going to need some college, but not a 4-year degree, and some sort of a professional licensure or some form of a shingle that can hang out and say, this is what I do, as he was mentioning, as my colleagues were mentioning, nursing, those sorts of things. So I think at this point, I just wanted to ask us to take stock in what we do in career and technical education. This is where we train the non-fungible skill sets, the skills that you have to have boots on the ground to do. There's been a lot of research that looked into after the dot-com bust, the fiber optic lines that we laid across the ocean were sold for about 8 cents on a dollar to Indian companies. And they were only using about 5% of capacity at the time. And now I think they're up to about 20. But that made Bangalore, India, a backdoor of Boise, Idaho. So a doctor can speak into his microphone on his computer after visiting with the patient, hit the button, it gets sent to India that night. Somebody that comes in that was trained and educated here in this country does a medical transcription for about 6 cents on the dollar. Service sector jobs like that, that's why there's so many call centers. Service sector jobs are hard to replace. India, 25% of the population has a degree of some sort. That's more people in India with a degree than we have people in the U.S. A fourth of them have graduate degrees. China does not have an educated workforce, but they have a highly skilled labor force. Those jobs are largely outsourced for similar reasons. Manufacturing jobs, that sort of thing. But things that can't be outsourced are those non-fungible skill sets that community colleges do in career and technical education. As I mentioned, nursing, firefighting, post-peace officers, those sorts of things. And that's where we really shine. That's not something that's easily replicated in other environments. And career and technical education, if you have just a high school diploma and you get some sort of a certification in career and technical education, it raises your average income over your lifetime by 17%. And at NIC, we have more than 40 career and technical programs, over 100 total degrees and certificates. But just as an example, manufacturing trades, we haven't spoken a lot about those, but diesel technology, welding, HVAC, wastewater treatment. One example from our school I'd like to share is we started this industrial maintenance / millwright program to be a millwright. They come out of our program making $27 an hour. 3 or 4 years when they become a journeyman, they're averaging $42 to $45 an hour. Same thing with welders. If you can get a confined space or an underwater welding certificate, you make even more than that. And so it's an 11-month program. It involves all kinds of skills, the millwright program. Everything from welding, hydraulics, electricity, rigging, and pipe fitting, and mechanical drive, and transmission systems. They kind of have to be a jack of all trades, and people don't realize what a skilled profession that is, but we're filling that need. That's just one of many that all of us together do in union to help our real world, non-fungible jobs, boots on the ground jobs in our communities and in our state. One key point of that is our programs, as I'm sure my colleagues' programs do, we offer hands-on training, internships, and working in those environments as part of their training circumstance. I have to just comment as a point of pride about INL. My son-in-law, the Idaho mechanic engineer, he called me between his junior and senior year in college 10 years ago, and he said, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" Orrin, and he said, "I am 4 feet from an active nuclear core at INL." I said, "You are? What are you doing there?" Well, he was designing a robot that would go up and down the core and inspect them so they didn't have to take him out, take him down the road, bring him back. But he began his education with a community college experience. And 90% of our people that graduate in career and technical education have jobs lined up when they graduate. And many of our programs have more than one job offer. So things like nursing that I mentioned, we just, those of you who don't know, we just opened a year ago our dental hygiene program and graduated our first class. Another example of boots on the ground, non-fungible skill sets. We have other healthcare professions, allied health programs like medical assistants, surgical tech, radiology technology, medical billing, business administration, business management. One big program that we have, I new to coming back home to the state, and I see people talking a lot about cybersecurity. We have that program, so we're here to help, and we'd love to be in that conversation, as well as graphic designs, culinary arts. If any of you on the campus please are going to be in here, please reach out to me. We'll get lunch in our culinary arts program. It's an outstanding program. I think I'll leave those comments there. One thing that's unique about, or two things that are unique about NIC, in addition to our student enrollment and our student body, we also touch 21,000 other lives through our area on the aging program. That alone touches 10,200 plus lives, as well as our Head Start program, which has over 300 students. And I will end my comments there, but I'd like to try to answer a couple of questions. I know Representative Lantine had a question about accreditation, and it's no secret that we have some issues, and I've stepped into a very challenging environment. But I want to say, first of all, your question, one of the first things I did my first week on campus is I wanted a meeting with Dr. Sunny Ramaswamy. I always struggle with his name, but the president of the Accrediting Commission. And so we visited, and he said it's premature to get ahead and project into the future what may happen. Right now we're fully accredited, and we need to focus on educating our students and supporting them in their process. Now, with accreditation, it's important to remember, because there's a lot that goes out. Things take on a life of their own when they get out on the internet and the web, and people get this and that, and you know how God goes. But we are fully accredited. We will remain fully accredited. If for some reason they decided to go to the next level of concern, which would be show cause, we would still be accredited. And what show cause means, and I like that, I welcome it if it happens. I prefer for us not to go there, but it gives me more leverage to move more quickly and get things done. Because as brother, we're on show cause and we got to get this fixed. But that's what it means, show cause and how you're going to fix it. So right now we're accredited, and it could happen quickly, but not fast enough that it would impact any accreditation issues right now. I don't want to downplay it because it's a very serious circumstance. And governance is probably the largest concern. We're very fortunate. I remember one school I went into, my first day in there as an interim president, we were hit with 14 counts of warning. We did a Hail Mary and got off it in a year. The issues here are much less, but very severe, because it's very inflamed. It's going to take a while to settle down. And so I don't know if we can do that, but I know there's the accrediting commissions, and having served on many accreditation teams across 4 different accrediting commissions, they want to see cooperation, that you're showing progress and moving in that direction. And as long as we're doing that, I think we can overcome this. It's not rocket science, but it is serious and it is complex. And for that reason, when I came in, I didn't come in by myself. I brought a team with me. But also, we've had a lot of dialogue with the board. And I'd just like to point out that all 5 of our Board of Trustee members are here. So starting on this end is Trustee Wagner, our Vice Chair, Trustee Banducci, Trustee, thank you, McKenzie, who is our Chair, Trustee Corkle, and Trustee Zimmerman. And then right next to them, I'd like you to meet a couple of the team members that have a great deal of experience in accreditation. I brought them in because we need more than what we were doing to get through this. And one is Dr. Peggy Bradford. She is a retired longtime college president and has been involved a great deal in accreditation, along with Dr. Debbie D. Thomas, who's retired chancellor, vice chancellor, and president, and does a great deal of work with boards and boards that need to work on accreditation issues. So we've put a team in place. We have a couple other people I brought in with me, and we're getting after this. We're moving very fast, but it does take time. And I hope that answers your question, sir.
And we wish you well in that.
Thank you. I believe we'll get through it. The commitment I have from these folks is completely different than where they were a year ago. It demonstrates the fact that they're here. It demonstrates that they're here as a board representing the college, which may not have always been so in the past. And so we are making demonstrable progress that we can demonstrate to the Accrediting Commission. Answer to Representative Mathias, one thing I was struck by when I came back to this state, back home, after having served at many colleges out of state, as presidents and vice presidents, I was concerned about the student voice being heard. And Chair McKenzie asked me, how do we, very impassioned, I really want to make certain that the student's voice gets heard. And I said, well, I'm really surprised. Most of the schools I've served at had an ex officio student representative, student trustee that sat on the board. And so we had that motion in the last board meeting, and they had a unanimous vote for me to explore doing that. So we're trying to bring the student voice more into what we're doing at NIC. So I hope that answers your question, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.